Good morning and welcome to this special edition of Inside Oakwood with Dr. Leslie Pollard. He is with his special guest today because we're going to be talking about all things healthy. And good morning to you, Dr. Pollard. How are you doing today?
Hey, good morning. Good morning, Donna. Good morning. How are you doing this morning?
I am doing quite well, although this morning has been like none other ever here at the radio
station. I think that's the joy of having to adjust to circumstances that we didn't plan and could never have anticipated. So.
I know. But you know, it's all a learning experience. Every time something like this happens, I learn a little bit more, and then I don't have to call on Damien as much, you know?
For those who are listening, Damien is our engineer, so we understand.
Engineer, program director, music director, assistant general manager, traffic director. That's what Damien is.
Yeah, he's wonderful. He's wonderful. We're blessed to have him. We are.
Yeah, so Dr. Pollard, for this special edition, what are we talking about today?
Well, we're talking today in the context of Healthy Campus. You know, when you think about a global pandemic that's ravaging the world, and every day the numbers are getting higher and higher. I track with many of the newscasts, and right now we're probably over 215,000 people. What I think about is that that's 250,000 euros. Because that for me gives it a human. These are grieving families. It gives it a human feel. But the other piece of this is that part of what we do in terms of prevention, while what we propose in our Healthy Campus initiative may not always be curative, it certainly can be preventative. Mm-hmm. So in 2015, we launched on our campus wellness program called Healthy Campus 2020. And of course, God has blessed the program ever since then. It's been an award-winning campus wellness program. In 2018, we received the prestigious Crystal Apple Award from Mrs. Michelle Obama's organization, Partnership for a Healthier America. And what most people don't realize is that winning that award was we were competing with people like Mercedes-Benz and all these other companies that have millions of dollars to invest. But by taking our 8 standout principles, and Dr. Dalrymple will share with us what those are, by taking what we've been given and then framing and building a campus wellness program around the very things that we have been given since the founding of the institution, we were able to distinguish the institution. So I'm happy today to have our guests who represent not only some of the finest health educators in the country, but also on our campus, very devoted health practitioners and promoters. As they say in Spanish, the promotores. They are the promoters of health. So I'm grateful for them today. Our key text is John 3:2, 1 John 2. Beloved, I wish above all, not 1 John. John, the one with just the one verse, right. John 3:2. John says, I wish above all things that thou mayest prosper and be in health. So we're happy to welcome this morning Dr. Lisa Dalrymple, who is the director of our Healthy Campus 2020, Healthy Campus, Healthy Community program. And she's got some exciting things to share with us. And then, of course, Dr. Sherine Brown Fraser, who is not only a registered dietitian, but also the director, the leader of our master's program, our health and clinical nutrition and wellness program, and she's doing and chair of that department. So she's doing just a tremendous job for us. So we're grateful today to talk about health, what it means in the face of the pandemic, and then some of the health practices that are being encouraged, like Wednesday walks and other kinds of activities that are being used to promote health here on the campus.
Mm-hmm. Well, I like where you started, Dr. Pollard. What can we do health-wise in this period of the pandemic? And either one of them. Oh, Dr. Sherine, can you, Sherine, because she's a good friend of mine. But anyway, can you tell us about maybe what we should be doing, during this pandemic to stay healthy? And this is in general now we're speaking.
Okay, sure. I mean, there's many things. But just some key areas. And first of all, thanks for this opportunity. It's such a blessing to be able to share the context of health and public health is my passions, as well as nutrition and dietetics. So we want to appreciate the platform for this. The things that we can do as one, which may seem like impossible, but relieving stress. And walking is a phenomenal way to do that. And I know we'll talk about that in a minute, but walking is something that we were anatomically designed to do and move. And it's actually the #1 exercise in the United States. But walking is a great way to relieve stress. Another way to, dealing with the COVID pandemic, which also may be a little challenging, is getting adequate sleep. During sleep, a lot of things are reset and your immune system helps to be realigned. It gives your digestive system an opportunity to reset. And believe it or not, your immune system is housed in your GI, your digestive system. A lot of people realize that there are other organs as well, but your GI system actually is one of the storehouses, in essence, the triggers for a healthy immune system. And so getting adequate rest helps to align and reset your digestive system to support a healthy immune system as well. A couple other things that we can do during COVID, I'm thinking just more some, basic types of things, is, reducing the amount of added sugars in your diet. And I use the word added because sugar really is not bad. It gets a bad rap because we need glucose, sugar for our brain. If we don't have glucose, which is sugar, our brains won't work effectively. But it's the added, the extra amounts that are added to foods that can actually lower our immune system. So again, I know this may be hard to hear because I love cake, having that occasionally, it's a good thing, and cookies. And I tell people, during this time, I know we enjoy it because we need things sometimes to relieve our stress, but the recommendation is don't have a cookie or cake or pie or pasta or pie by itself. Have the meal first, then have the dessert. It's such a critical thing. This timing is so important. Never have that sweet alone. If you want to have it after the meal, because it allows sugar to dilute a bit more and not go so quickly into the bloodstream, lowering your immune system. So those are just some quick things that came off the top of my head.
Great. Now, I didn't know if Dr. Dalrymple wanted to even respond to that. I mean, and I want to say, Dr. Sherine, those are really good because all of those, as you all know, I had COVID-19 as well. I'm a survivor of COVID-19. And all of those things I definitely did. The walk was really energizing for me. I would get out every day and walk at least 3 miles in my neighborhood. I took my vitamins. I didn't eat any sweets or anything during that time. And I think all of that did help, me to recover and taking the vitamins and everything else. But Dr. Dalrymple, what do you have to say about that? And then we're going to get on to it because we're going to go a little bit over today, of course. Yeah.
Well, thank you again for having me as well join the conversation. And, my colleagues mentioned at least 3 or 4 of the standout principles that we have in place. And so as Dr. Pollard stated, when this initiative first began, it was the foundation for which we have now, the infrastructure that we have on campus to build a healthier campus for not only our students, but anyone who steps foot on our campus. They see what we embrace as far as health is concerned, and now moving into the community with that message. And so our 8 standout principles basically outline what we should follow, a blueprint that would be impactful in our lives and what we are using even now during this pandemic to help us get through it. So being outside, outdoors in the sunlight, which helps with our moods. This is a time where a lot of us are facing mental strain and stress. And so that has definitely impacted a lot of us, especially our students, which voice it. And so being outdoors, as you stated, Dr. Fraser, with our wellness walks, this gives our faculty, our staff, and especially our students the opportunity to be outdoors in the sunlight, which helps change their moods in a positive way, our nutrition, drinking water, and the last T, even though it's the last one, it's the most important principle, trusting in God. This allows us to just be outside in nature. And even when we're out there with our colleagues and our peers, the social, we're practicing social distancing, all the mandates that are in place, but being outside with our colleagues and just sharing this time, it really, really has helped, and we're excited for what has started. We're excited for what's to come, and this is a great opportunity for us to just be together during this time and use our health principles to orchestrate how we go on from here.
Right. So as you all know, this is Breast Cancer Awareness Month as well. So we are interested in knowing what the university is doing to bring awareness to that as well.
So, Dalrymple, I'll go ahead and dive in. And, that's all right. For this, one of the things that decided to do in partnering with Healthy Campus 2020 is to have October be which is National Breast Cancer Awareness Month, but to combine the wellness walks on Wednesdays for October to highlight and showcase National Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And so for this month, we're wearing pink, prizes are being given out. We're discussing some of the risks. For example, one of the things that you may not be aware of is that white women and Black women have equal risk of breast cancer. However, Black women die at higher rates of breast cancer. And one of the things that walking can do, and I can talk maybe if the time permits, is what initiated this walking initiative, is that walking not only improves blood pressure, blood sugar levels, it reduces colon cancer risk, it also reduces breast cancer risk. This has been studied at many universities. And so being able to tie those two together, and I'm so excited that Dalrymple said, let's make sure and highlight this during the wellness walks, the idea of highlighting and showcasing breast cancer.
Yeah, Donna, one of the emphasis we've kept through the years in Breast Cancer Awareness Month is, of course, very personal for me, because my mother actually did not survive breast cancer. She died of breast cancer back in the 80s. And I think about her almost every day, but I certainly think about her a lot during this Breast Cancer Awareness Month, where the institution pinks out on particular days as an emphasis and as a mode of support. One of the things that as we think about Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and I often wonder about the mental health aspects of knowing that one has this diagnosis. I watched it with my mom, and of course, she is a very vibrant Christian, so the trusting in God that Dr. Dalrymple talked about was also a key to mental health. And when we talk about health, it's easy to focus on physical health, but we know that the COVID pandemic has also ravaged, and maybe that's too colorful a word. It has increased the incidence of depression, anxiety, sleeplessness, irritability, especially among people of color, because often the resources are not there to survive or to thrive within the pandemic environment. So the simple statement that says, well, you can work from home. How many of our people in some of the jobs that we occupy have that opportunity? Not as many. So if our panelists could talk a little bit about not only not only Breast Cancer Awareness Month, but also the effect of the pandemic and knowing that one has these diagnoses upon one's mental health and how to manage the mental health aspects of living through the pandemic.
Sure. Well, I'll jump in. This Saturday that just passed, it was actually National Mental Health Awareness Day. And so as President Pollard stated, when we think about pre-pandemic, all of the day-to-day stressors that impacted our life, that alone definitely that alone was a strain on individuals. But adding this pandemic to what was already there has really, really shown its, I want to just be frank, shown its ugly side. And we see that not only, and this has no respecter of person, let me just say that. We see that a lot of people are being affected with what is happening when individuals are thinking about their jobs, not having a job, losing loved ones to this pandemic or other underlying conditions that now this pandemic has put a strain on. It's only by the grace of God that we are able to get through this moment by moment, not even day by day, but moment by moment, because things are so fluid and changing moment by moment. And so the fact that we are able to use this platform to speak about some of the things that individuals can do on a day-to-day basis to get through this time, it's wonderful. It brings me joy to know that I can speak to my students, I can speak to my colleagues, to my peers, of just simply using basic everyday things that doesn't take a lot out of you to go outside, you know, of course, using safety precautions now, but to drink water and choose healthier food options. These principles that we have had in place that we are now presenting even more, teaching individuals even more to use and apply to their lives. I think using all of them, if not all of them, even some of them, on a day-to-day basis will definitely help with our mental health as well. And so we are encouraging, again, with the different activities that we have planned. They may be fewer than in the past years, but what we do have planned, we encourage everyone to take part in it, because we know that it will definitely help everyone do this in some form or fashion. So we're excited for the wellness walks. Dr. Fraser, I'm sure she'll get into it a little bit more as how it started, but we have had wonderful turnouts the past 2 weeks that we've had wonderful turnouts, the expression of joy from our students and our staff that has expressed just having the opportunity to pull away from their desks for 30 minutes and get outside and breathe fresh air and walk in the sunlight, listening to beautiful music, if they're walking by themselves or with a partner, just talking. All of this has done so much. And so even going back to the office, just that exercise alone has rejuvenated them, both mentally, physically, to get back in the office and finish off the day, and they look forward to the next week. And so we're very happy, very happy.
Wow.
If I could just add, and I'm so excited to hear that, if I just may interject something about mental health, I think it's really valuable. COVID, as you know, has been not an interruption. You know, President Pollard has reminded us it's a disruption, and disruptions can wreak havoc. And what the Yale School of Public Health and other major institutions have found is that depression rates have not doubled, they've not tripled, in some cases they've quadrupled. It's COVID, which is monumental to have rates within a short, almost 6-month period of time to see depression rates increase so significantly. And, you know, Duke University Medical Center, they found that 30-minute brisk walk or jog around the track, either 2 or 3 times a week, can actually be just as effective as antidepressant medication relieving symptoms of major depression in middle-aged and elderly individuals. Now, I want to be careful in saying this. We're not saying to not be on medication if you need it. This is not what we're saying. We are saying that a brisk walk 2 to 3 times a week can actually give the same effects. And when you couple that with the T, the trust in God, it really creates a shock absorber for us, because we have to face it. This is a vexing time, and there's no really word to describe what we're going through. But the little things, as Dr. Dalrymple mentioned, just the simple things. And the fact that Mayo Clinic actually saw that exercise can actually, with walking, boost those endorphins and the neurotransmitters that actually trigger the brain to release a lot of stress. So it's really phenomenal, especially in the context and need with COVID and the fact that depression rates have tripled.
All right, so why don't you tell us, I mean, I haven't made it out there, and I apologize, as I've been saying ever since you all started, I was coming out there, but every time something happens and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's 5:30 and I missed the walk with everybody, but I'm gonna try and make it out there, because not only just walking is gonna help, like you said, doctors, but I think just being with people. So tell me how you're actually facilitating this walk and following CDC guidelines, so people can be with one another out and exercising.
Well, let me say, Dr. Fraser, she is always on time. So I am a little tardy for the party sometimes, but when I get to the track, Dr. Fraser has the cones spread out 6 feet apart. She has everything in place on the soccer field, so people are social distancing. When they arrive, they stand at their cone. And then once we hit the track, everyone is again stationed at their cones to be distantly separated, so we can ensure that we are following the guidelines. And so again, when we get out there, We have the music going. We encourage individuals to get there early. We give away prizes. We have time for testimony prayer. And so it's just an amazing, and Dr. Fraser, please jump in whenever you want. It's just an amazing time for us to get together and share this time with just being outdoors, and the music does something. And so it's exciting. You actually see people running to where we are to get there first so they can get a prize. And so we see the joy and we see the enthusiasm in them. So we're excited for this. So Mrs. Baker, we are expecting to see you there.
I know. I'm
President
doing my best to be there on this Wednesday. I want to be there this Wednesday. And it's rain or shine, right? Is it rain or shine?
Well, you know, and I will say we also give out recipes. I wanted to throw that in there as well.
Okay.
Recipes, but as it stands now, we want to have it rain or shine. We haven't announced it yet, but we're working to have access to the MAC for in the event that it rains. But we haven't announced that yet, so I kind of done a soft announcement. I'm just going to confirm its availability in the time that it rains, and we may have to adjust on the participation amount because it being indoors. But in essence, we will be rolling out soon.
Wait, did you just say indoors? What did you say?
If it rains,
Okay.
then we will probably have it in the MAC.
Okay, gotcha.
In the activity center if it rains. Yes.
Okay. All right.
And I just want to say this, if I may. We have been discussing this as a university event, but I want to let everyone know that K through 12 is a part of our campus, and so that is a part of our family. And we extended the invitation for OAA faculty, administration, and staff, and students to join us as well. And so I'm happy to say that Mrs. Dent confirmed that she will be there with her team Dent. And so this is a campus-wide event because again, we want to ensure that everyone is practicing everything that they can to get through this time. And so as was stated earlier, the impact of walking is so profound. It's free. It's low risk injuries. So this is something that everyone can do. It doesn't require any special equipment. And so just 30 minutes, adding 30 minutes a day. And when we think about COVID real quick, we see that a lot of the underlying health conditions have impacted the effects of COVID even more. So walk-in has been seen, even 30 minutes, as I said, to lower some of these underlying health conditions, such as hypertension, as cardiovascular disease risk. And so getting out there and using this time to help get through so many things, this is a great opportunity.
Okay.
So we are extending it beyond Oakwood University.
Stand by 1 second. We got to do a legal ID, and then when we come back, we're going to come right back to you right after this quick ID, Dr. Pollard.
No problem.
All right, Dr. Pollard.
Okay, so colleagues, and I'm honored to be with them this morning. Colleagues, as we think about then, we were made to move, right? So the mobility piece, I heard that at the beginning of our presentation, that we were made to ambulate, we were made to move. And Wednesdays at 5:30, we've got the Wednesday walk that's well organized, socially distanced, and we encourage everyone to participate, including the president of the university. So I need to get that in. So good. Now that I know. Now,
4:30, President Pollard.
4:30, I'm sorry. Okay, 4:30. Okay, 4:30. Thank you. 4:30. So, colleagues, now for our listeners, we're talking not only to both PhDs in their profession, one being a food scientist, the other being a clinical nutritionist and public health expert. Would you say a little bit, because our listeners are very interested in the whole food as medicine movement. Could you all just make a comment about what the pros of that are and how we can avoid some of the pitfalls of the whole food as medicine movement? Either one of you can speak to it, one being a food scientist, the other being a nutritionist, or both of you, please.
So thank you, President Pollard. So when we think about food, there are particular categories of food, such as our fruits and vegetables, that contain something which is known as phytochemicals. And phytochemicals act as antioxidants, which has a profound benefit on the effects of free radicals or oxidative stress. And so these free radicals and oxidative stress impacts the body where it destroys or mutates our cells. And so when we incorporate whole foods, such as fresh fruits and vegetables, which contain these phytochemicals, they help to neutralize these free radicals that impact our body or injure our cells due to mutation and damage. And so when we use that statement, food, let food be thy medicine and medicine be thy food, it is encouraging individuals because God set us up for what we needed. Okay, providing in a whole, healthy, fresh diet. And so we encourage individuals to eat wholesome foods, as Dr. Fraser stated, limiting the amount of junk foods, those with added sugar, added salt, because that adds what's the word I'm looking for? I'm sorry. It does damage to our body more than it helps us. And so fill up on your fruits and vegetables, your water, because we see that studies have shown that it definitely helps protect our body against fighting diseases.
Okay.
Thank you, Dr. Dalrymple. You wrapped it up. I'll simply only say at this point that in a sentence, eat, not too much, mostly plants, and what your drink needs to be predominantly water. That may sound very simple, but in a nutshell, eat, not too much, mostly plants, hydrate with water.
That is a challenge, I must say. It sounds easy, it truly does, but actually try to do that.
But you can have fun with it, Donna. You know,
Yes.
if you don't like plain water, add some fruits to it, you know, spice it up. Add some slices of carrots and cucumbers. So there are ways to enjoy your food. So it doesn't have to be too boring. You know?
Right.
And you have to find what works for you. I mean, that's the big thing. Find what you enjoy. I encourage people all the time. You don't have to like all fruits and vegetables. Find the 5, use your hand, find the 5 that you like, work with it. You don't have to do every exercise. Find that what you enjoy and maximize on that. Don't put the pressure on yourself to have to feel like you should or should. We don't need to should on ourselves, sorry. But we, find what works for you and then maximize that.
Right. And I just love that T part again. Dr. Dalrymple, the T part of what we're doing, trusting in God over all things, you know, and I think we'll be okay, Dr. Pollard.
Amen. I believe we will too. God knew what we needed when he set up the universe. He set up creation. He established some fundamental principles. And at Oakwood University, we remain committed to those principles of health and wellness, not only for ourselves individually, but also for our community. And in a future broadcast, I'd like to have our guests back as we talk about what the community impact of our campus wellness program looks like, because we are doing things in the community that will also enhance the lives and the well-being of our fellow citizens. So I'm looking forward to that broadcast as well, Donna.
All right, I'm looking forward to that as well, because I know a lot of our listeners want to hear that as well. So that would be great. That would be wonderful to have all of you back to talk about that. All right, Dr. Pollard, we want to wrap it up right there. You want to have the final words or anything you got something, Dr. Dalrymple has something.
Really quick, I'm sorry.
She's excited. Let her speak, please.
I'm sorry. In addition to our wellness walks on Wednesday, we also want to promote October 22nd as our campus Pink Out Day. So not only is Oakwood University engaging in or promoting that Pink Out Day, but OAA is also joining us. So we know that in the past where we have had our parades or our walks on campus for the Healthy Campus route, we are doing things different now because of the COVID. And so we are encouraging everyone to wear your beautiful shades of pink on October 22nd. This was an event that was planned by our health ambassadors, and so we are excited for that. And so there are flyers up, and we encourage everyone to take pictures of yourself, and please send it to standout1@oakwood.edu. Again, that email is standout1@oakwood.edu, so we can show everyone's support for this event. So October 22nd, wear your great shades of pink. Thank you.
All right. Dr. Sherine, you want to say something?
Yes, I would be remiss if I didn't acknowledge the inspiration for the wellness walks on Wednesdays. Dalrymple kind of gave a hint at it and I'll be very quick, about a year ago at the Deans and Chairs retreat, where I was there for the first time. There was a lot of walking incorporated in the program, inspired by Dr. Wilson and his team, and the faculty and staff were walking at the end of every day. They did lots of, we walked and we talked and we said, you know what, this is a great stress release. Somehow along the end of the day, we ended up being in the gym and they were doing some exercises, and I kind of did some spotting on them, and they said, how did you know about this? Long story short, I kind of revealed I was a personal trainer pre-Samantha, and so I kind of not doing that as much these days, and so I said, oh shoot, I left the cat out the bag. And they said, no, we need more of this. And I said, listen, I just got here. I love Oakwood, I bleed Oakwood, I'm an alum, but I just got here, so give it some time. A year passed. Thank you, Amanda Pitt and others, and Dr. Lisa James and Renee Elliott and others who were walking with us at the end of each session. And they said, please, we need something. We got started. Dr. Dalrymple, you remember in February, we had a flyer made. We were getting ready to call it Walking Women Win, because it was women, but COVID hit.
Yeah.
And stopped everything. Then again, I guess a month ago, someone approached me again, said, Dr. Fraser, we need something, the faculty, and so we wanted to start doing something. So we again collaborate again with Dr. Rimple and Dr. Young to kind of pull something together. And I promised that I'd do it, because I always remember one of the public health mantras, which is a mantra of even our president, which is, and I'm gonna say the hashtag, alone, fast, together, long. I think we mix it up, I'm sorry. If we do alone, we go fast, but together we go far. And they're messing that up, but the reality is that's public health, and I realized we had to collaborate, and so this is where we are and how it was done.
Right. We love to collaborate, Dr. Pollard, right? You got to collaborate to get it done.
Yeah. Well, the best movements are those that begin at the grassroots, and I want to thank my colleagues for the work that they're doing, and of course the work of Healthy Campus and Healthy Community. This community piece, as we continue to grow, I'm just telling you, it's going to be transformational. We'll talk more about it with the build of our Community Health Action Clinic, with the presence of Huntsville Hospital coming into the Northwest, and sharing some of that space with us. It's going to be transformational, and I'm very grateful for that. So thank you, colleagues. Thank you for what you do every single day to advance the ministry and the mission of Oakwood, and of course, the wellness of our campus.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that too. Thank you for being with us today, talking about this very important subject of being healthy and what we can do on campus, and those outside of the campus as well can join in. We thank you so much. We'll see you again next week. Well, we'll see you on Thursday, Dr. Pollard.
Yes. Thursday, here we come.
Thank you, ladies, for being with us. We'll see you
Thank you for having us. Thank you.
You.